Hey there, and welcome to Life's Just Perfect. I'm Brenna Stebbins, a wife, mom, and full-time realtor here in North Carolina. 7 years ago, I transplanted from a tiny town in Maine to an only slightly bigger small town, and let me tell you, it has been a journey. Let's be real, these middle years, the ones where you're too old to hang out in the McDonald's playground but still figuring out what you want to be when you grow up, they're messy, magical, and nobody talks about it enough. Perfect is all about perception. What's perfect for one person might not look like perfection to another, but that doesn't make it any less beautiful. So let's dive in and embrace the chaos and talk about everything that leads us to our own version of perfect. Oh my God, this is wild. I literally have another podcast. Why am I talk to myself all the time? This should be easy peasy. Somehow, sitting here thinking about the ways that I'm going to talk to you guys is mostly like how I talk to myself, which is great, but I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie. So here is episode 1 of Life's Just Perfect with a crooked T, and I'm so excited that you're here for this journey, which is starting January 1st of 2025. And how this came to be was actually an Instagram influencer. While we're talking about perfection, there's a there's a funny for you. Anyways, there is an Instagram influencer that I follow. I followed for a couple of years now, and it's Just Classically Cassidy. And oh my God, she's hilarious. She has some great style. I love her stuff. But she just released a jewelry line, and one of her pieces is perfect. It's the word perfect written out, but the T is crooked. And coming into this year, I went through probably, gosh, 20 different words because I'm one of those people that likes to pick out a word of the year, which is awesome. I've done it for several years. Last year was actually kind of more of a phrase than just a word. Last year it was the let them theory by Mel Robbins, if you're familiar with that. If not, definitely go check her out because it was a really, really good phenomenon to enjoy this past year of just, if somebody doesn't agree with you, great, let them. Somebody thinks that Alfredo sauce is better than red sauce. Great, let them. They're wrong, but like let them think that. Um, Not everybody's right. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Anyways, I suppose I should start at the beginning. For those of you who don't know me, I am a wife of several years. Gosh, we're going on 13 years together, which is awesome. Not that many married, but we've been together for a really long time. I am a mom of 2 girls. I am a mom to 2 bulldogs, 3 horses. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm a busy person. I like to be busy. I am a full-time real estate agent in North Carolina. I relocated here from central Maine, which is crazy. We moved here for the weather. Obviously, it's cold in Maine. Ask any of my siblings. They're still up there. I actually come from a huge, huge family. I'm one of 11 siblings. And maybe that's where like the perfect thing comes from, just that the standout ability from 11 siblings is a lot. But yeah, that's where this came from. So I went through, see, this is the problem with me just talking by myself. I have a co-host on a real estate podcast that I do this with, and she kind of keeps me on track because I have such a squirrel brain, and some of you will probably relate to this. And as things go on, I think it'll come a little bit easier, but for now, it's a little popping back and forth. But if you know me in real life, that's exactly how I am as a person. So I went through several words. One of them that I really, really was like, oh, this 2025 is going to be audacious. I love the word audacious, but for a good chunk of the public, I feel like audacious or audacity has such a negative vibe to it. It's very controversial. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna bring that potential of energy into 2025. So I was listening to something the other day and they're like, life's perfect, as perfect as perfect gets. And I was like, wow, that's crazy because perfect is such a societal thing. More than 90% of people, both men and women, think that they're not perfect, which it's all about perception. It's somebody's opinion of what's perfect, which is why it jumped out at me so much. Perfection is often such a societal ideal instead of a personal goal. But if you think about the internet or even people that you know, the number of people that view perfect or perfection as an unattainable ideal, um, it's crazy because and I'm going to circle this back to real estate because that's what I do in real life. It's like an appraisal. You know what I mean? Perfect is an appraiser because it's somebody's opinion one day of something that matters to them, maybe not that much. You know what I mean? So perfection changes. Somebody's view of perfect is different than yours, which I think is so beautiful. And that's why I ended up choosing perfect with a crooked T because that's important. The crooked T is important for 2025 because I am happy with who I am, where my family is, what we're doing with this life that we've created. I am happy with that. And just like constantly chasing this bigger, better, perfect mentality was like exhausting. But shifting that perspective to look at it in a scope of gratitude and like this is perfect. The cake is a little overcooked or we didn't have quite the right color for frosting. It's still perfect, you know? I I don't know, that was magical for me thinking about that and I'm excited because I think that this mentality could open it up to so many people to not base their perfect off somebody else's. It's just like this time of year is huge for New Year's resolutions, right? So Jim might be going to the Jim might be going to the gym 7 days a week. That's his new resolution. And to somebody else, oh my gosh, I'll be happy to walk a mile a day, right? And for Jim to look at that, who is somebody who already goes to the gym 5 days a week, walking a mile a day is like, oh wow, that's hardly anything, right? But to somebody who maybe hasn't walked a mile in 6 months, that's a huge thing. That's a huge accomplishment. That's something to be proud of. And I think that all of us in our own right, in our own little worlds that we've created, have so many things that are perfect. They're our version of perfect. And that's what I'm here to talk about. I want you to take on 2025 and not chase somebody else's goal. Oh my gosh, I heard this on a podcast actually. If you don't focus on your own goals, you might accidentally start chasing somebody else's because they look good. You see somebody saying, I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to buy a new house. I'm going to run a marathon. And you're like, oh, wow, that's super cool. That's a big goal. Everybody's telling them that's so awesome. They're so proud of them. I could do that. Meanwhile, your goal was to keep your sourdough starter alive for the next 6 months. Like, pick what is important to you and go for it. Because I think that that happens so much to people is they accidentally wind up trying to be like the Joneses. That's where that sentiment came from is not being happy with your perfect, but seeing somebody else's version of perfect and thinking that that's what you're supposed to have or that's what you're supposed to want. And that's not true. It's just not true. It's just like comparing your why for people who have like I don't know if it's just self-employed people that are like, why do you do this? You know, your why doesn't have to be the same as somebody else's. It can be very selfish. Like your perfect could be very selfish. I There's nothing wrong with that. So that's my 2025. I am going to have a perfect 2025 and I am willing to take on every little crooked thing that happens. Every bump, every challenge, every hardship, every everything that just gets thrown at us because every year, you know, it's another level. There's something else that gets thrown in. It's like Jumanji these days. You know, you just never know what to expect. So, if you are looking at your life with this sense of gratitude, excitement, acceptance, being proud of everything that you've achieved over your 15, 25, 35, 86 years, however old you are, wherever you're at, take a look at your life and just be excited for what you've accomplished. Be proud of the perfect that you've created, because I think that's important for all of us. We need to redefine the word perfect and stop making it something that is never attainable. Make it something that is happening to you right now. Right now. And that's basically the gist of what we're going to be talking about this year. I have a lot of stories to tell. Like I said, I come from a family of 11. I run a business. I have a lot of animals. I have a lot of things to say that I think might be helpful. Kind of like a extra big sister. You know, those things that maybe you just want to chit chat on the phone about. That's what this is. That's what we're going for here. Just good little coffee talk, or wine talk, or seltzer, beer, whatever you're into. Maybe you need some water. Have you drank your water today? Whatever it is, I'm here for you in 2025. And honestly, if nobody ends up listening to this podcast, that's fine. I'm going to look back at it next year, and it's going to be a journey and a journal of everything that was perfectly right for me this year. So I'm excited to take you along with me. We just finished another episode of Life's Just Perfect with a crooked T. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. And until next time, let's keep redefining the word perfect.